Aries. Today, we're going to look at June 25th, 2025. That's the new moon in Cancer. We'll look at Aries Sun, Moon, and Rising with specific messages for each. We'll look at numerology and astrology and the tarot cards, and we'll end the reading with advice for your sign. And in the description box below, I have links for meditations for each of these tarot cards that I drew for you today. So let's start with numerology, and the number for that day is 22. And 22 is the master builder. It's a rare and powerful number symbolizing long-term vision, foundational shifts, and turning dreams into reality. And so for Aries, 22 challenges you to use your ambition, not just for speed, but for legacy. It's about creating something that lasts. So today you might take a long-term step, like registering for a business or setting up new financial goals or investing in your health. It's not about instant results. It's about committing to something real and sustainable that future you will thank you for. Now, let's look at astrology. So, the new moon is in Cancer, and that activates your fourth house. And that's going to talk about home and family and roots and emotional safety. New moons are all about beginnings, and this one whispers, what does security really mean to you? Now, the sun and the moon are in Cancer, your fourth house, and together they're going to talk about home and inner world. So both luminaries in this sensitive house highlights emotional foundations, family matters, and your sacred space. You're planting seeds around how you feel supported by others or by yourself. You might start looking for a new home or decide to set firmer emotional boundaries with a relative. It's a reset for your inner world. And then we have Mercury. And Mercury is in Leo, and that's your fifth house. And that's going to talk about expression and joy and children. So your words carry bold, fiery energy. You may express yourself more creatively or just have heartfelt talks with loved ones that bring joy and honesty. So a conversation with a child or a partner becomes a turning point, opening space for deeper emotional expression. Venus is also in Leo, your fifth house. That's going to talk about romance, fun, and pleasure. So Venus brings radiant warmth to your creative and romantic life. You may feel inspired to reconnect with joy, have a little flirtation, or artistic self-expression. So you might plan a romantic date, start writing poetry, or feel an old passion project's calling you again. And here we have Mars. And Mars is in Taurus. That's your second house. That's going to talk about finances and self-worth. Mars pushes you to take steady, grounded action when it comes to your resources and values. So be mindful of stubbornness, but don't ignore the urge to protect your energy. So you might decide to create a new budget or finally raise your rates as a freelancer because you know your worth. Now, so let's talk about the tarot cards. And the first one I pulled for you was the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands talks about resilience and persistence and final push. So the Nine of Wands shows a figure and he's battling, but he's not broken. It's the card of almost there. You're tired, but there's the finish line, and it's closer than you think. So you might be pushing really hard on a job or a relationship or a personal goal, and you're wondering if it's still worth it. Today's message, yes, your resilience is the magic ingredient now. Maybe you've been running a business solo or dealing with repeated emotional setbacks, and it's exhausting. But your courage is your crown. So don't give up right before the breakthrough. Rest if needed, but stay in the game. And next, we have Death. But it's a butterfly. So it's going to talk about transformation and endings and rebirth. So death doesn't mean literal death. It's the end of a chapter that's become too small. It's necessary change, spiritual evolution, and a gateway to renewal. So you might realize a friendship or a job or even a mindset no longer fits who you're becoming. Maybe you finally accept that a certain plan isn't working and you decide to surrender and pivot. Letting go feels terrifying until you feel the weight lift. So trust what needs to end. Closure isn't failure, it's freedom. The third card is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands talks about victory and recognition and public validation. So the Six of Wands is about being seen and celebrated and acknowledged for your growth. It's a parade after the battle. You did the work and now others notice. You're praised for work. You receive some kind words from someone unexpected, or finally feel proud of how far you've come. Maybe by posting something vulnerable online, and the response is overwhelming in the best way. So advice: own your success. Don't downplay your triumphs. Shine a little. You've earned it. So now let's talk about Aries Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Aries Sun. You're feeling internal shifts today, especially around emotional security and self-identity. The new moon encourages you to redefine what home means, while the external world might be asking for your leadership. So, for example, you may feel drawn to start a new morning routine or build emotional safety, like finally setting a boundary with a family member or upgrading your living space to better match your inner growth. Aries Moon. Emotionally, you're releasing old survival patterns. This is a powerful day to set intentions around feeling safe, loved, and supported by others and yourself. So you might cry unexpectedly after an innocent comment or a memory. That's your inner child resurfacing, asking to be nurtured in a new way. Listen and respond with care. Aries Rising. Your public and private selves are recalibrating. The outer world sees your power, but it's your inner world that needs honoring now. For example, you present boldly to a new client or a community today, but afterward, feel the need to retreat and recharge. And this contrast teaches you how to balance power with vulnerability. So here's a summary for what this day means to Aries. So the new moon in Cancer highlights your emotional foundations and invites deep healing. Meanwhile, the tarot brings a compelling narrative of resilience, transformation, and well-earned victory. The Nine of Wands urges you to persevere. It's your final push before a breakthrough. Death encourages necessary endings and rebirth. And the Six of Wands rewards your courage with public recognition and internal pride. Here's the real life takeaway. You're stronger than you think, even when you're tired. Let go of what's over. You're not meant to carry dead weight into your next chapter. And celebrate your victories. Your journey matters, and it's about to inspire others. Here's the advice for Aries on this day. Be brave enough to release the past and resilient enough to finish what you started. There's celebration on the other side of surrender. Trust the process, and when your moment of triumph arrives, don't be afraid to take a bow. Wow, Aries. Get you centered there. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in another reading.